Hi, my name is David Poland. I'd like to welcome you to Portland Film Beat. Tonight, my guest is Christopher Toyne. He is an actor who is an Emmy Award recipient 2008, Emmy Award nominee 2008 and 2010 with the National Academy of Television Arts and Science. Christopher, I'm so glad you're here, man.
Hey, Dave, it's great to be with you finally.
Tell us about winning an Emmy.
Oh,
it's got to be an exciting thing.
It was great. It was fabulous. It was a symphonic piece, and it was actually the gala opening of the Skimhorn Symphony Center in Nashville, which is the most beautiful hall. It's just, the acoustics are better than the Disney Hall in LA. It's a classic building, and the opening with Leonard Slatkin as the maestro was, well, we finished with Mahler's Resurrection, Mahler's second. Mm-hmm. And we had an oversized orchestra of 80 pieces and a 200-piece choir, and the antiphonal trumpets, which Mahler would actually put over a hill when he did his originally when he played it. We actually put into corridors, so that you got that coming through the corridors of the building, and it was electric. And of course the royalty of Nashville was there. I mean, all the great.
What did you get nominated for in 2010 then?
We did with the new maestro that they'd been looked for 2 years, which is Giancarlo Guerrero, who actually came from Eugene.
He doesn't sound like he'd be from Eugene.
Well, he was maestro in Eugene, but he is actually Venezuelan. Was fully installed as the permanent music director, maestro of Nashville Symphony, and so it was his first gala, and he was in love with Gershwin, so we did an all Gershwin night.
Right.
And we were nominated. We were nominated for that production as best live production.
How many generations of actors came before you?
Oh, wow. We go back. I'm part of the Du Maurier family on my grandfather's side. His sister was married to George Du Maurier, to Sir Gerald Du Maurier, Daphne Du Maurier's father.
We don't know who they are, but that's good
no,
that you do.
you know who Daphne Du Maurier is. She wrote The Birds.
Oh, did she really? Okay.
She's a pretty well-known author in England who wrote Don't Look Now, that wonderful film with Donald Sutherland in it, and sort of some great classics like Rebecca and Jamaica
Rebecca's
Inn.
my favorite film, actually.
Well, that was Daphne Du Maurier wrote that, and she did a number of films with Hitchcock.
Okay,
so
wow,
she's my first cousin, and she's married to my grandfather's sister. At least her mother was my grandfather's sister. So that was the Du Maurier side, and my grandfather, Commons Beaumont, was a very well-known and rather eccentric writer and very well-known Fleet Street editor under Lord Northcliffe. And then my father and mother were actors going back a couple of generations. And so before that was George Du Maurier, who wrote Trilby, who was a very, very well-known Victorian writer. So we go back about 4 generations.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And so you've been acting actually your whole life?
I brought this song. It's quite amusing.
Well, how old were you when you did that?
1956. I have 4. Every actor wants to be on IMDb. Well, my first 4 credits on IMDb are from 1956.
Right, and you were actually one of the last contracted actors. Is that right?
I was one of the last 4 kids to be on contract.
Because studios don't contract anymore.
No, but I was on contract with the J. Arthur Rank Studios. Do you remember the studios, the guy with the great big gong, boom.
Oh, yeah.
That was J. Arthur Rank Studios in England. And I was on contract. I did 4 films in 1956, 1957, 1958. And the first one I starred in was Child in the House with Mandy Miller, who was the sort of child star before Hayley Mills. Mandy Miller disappeared into a bottle of gin, sadly, but she was the star du jour.
She was the stuff then.
Star du jour of the 50s.
You do voice acting as well,
Yeah,
who are some of your clients?
I'm a journeyman. I do here in Portland. I do stuff for Microsoft, Intel. Do a lot for PBS. In fact, I voiced. When you do these big symphony pieces, there's a 20-minute break because the orchestra always has to.
You do the narration.
I do the narration of the story in between for PBS. I've done quite a lot for OPB and Winnie the Pooh. We did a
Yeah.
we did a beautiful we did a beautiful actor called Peter Dennis. We did the complete unabridged readings of all of the books of Winnie the Pooh for National Public Radio, and I did all the top and tails of those, which is rather fun.
Is that right? So you've also done multi-camera directing. Right?
Well,
Tell us about
that was actually, I'm an associate director primarily, so I work with a director. I call all the cameras, that was the second nomination.
Okay.
We got the Emmy for the best production, best live production for the gala opening, and then both Robert and I got nominated as director and associate director for the same production.
Okay. As an assistant director.
Associate director when you are multi-camera, because what I'm doing is I'm pre-calling. We actually shot that with 32 cameras.
Holy cow.
Well, a lot of them were little, what we call little iconics cameras. We put little cameras in amongst the orchestra, so they're little fixed cameras.
Oh, right.
So we would have one right up the trombone, you know.
Yeah, so you
and
can
we'd have
see it.
one behind the harp, and for the Gershwin piece, we actually had 4 in the piano. So we had one right along the strings, one actually in the
so
piano.
you can do cutaways to the strings and
Exactly,
things
yeah.
like that.
So
right?
we were cutting 10 iconics cameras, as well as the big sweeping cameras that had men on them, you know.
Right, and close-ups and all the rest, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
You also produce.
I've been producing, since 1960, since I left the BBC in 1970.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So tell us about a few of your better known productions,
Well,
the ones that you had a great time on.
Oh, wow. As a producer, you never have a great time. You're always fighting budget, weather, crews.
Actors.
Actors especially. Yeah.
And now you're an actor,
The
right?
David Polands of this world, yes. No, I've done a lot of music productions, out of Nashville mostly, a lot of gospel, which have been fabulous.
I love
doing
gospel music.
Yes, I mean the Blind Men of Alabama and just innumerable amount of gospel shows which have people falling out in the churches, and it's very exciting. I love it. Some feature films. In fact, I've just finished a feature film here in Portland. We did a small $500,000 indie called Something Like Summer. We just finished. We wrapped that 2 weeks ago.
Right.
That came under the Indigenous Oregon Production Investment
You
Fund.
were an actor in that, or a
No,
producer?
I produced it. I
Oh,
was
did
one
you
of the
produce it?
producers. Yes.
Okay, because you do so much acting nowadays too.
I love to keep my hands dirty on both sides of the camera. No, that was a fun and very exciting for the state because it was the only film shooting. I mean, Grimm was shooting, of course, the big TV show that we have here for NBC, but it was the only feature film shooting in Oregon at the time. And we employed 27 local actors.
Wow!
And
yeah.
it was completely crewed with local. We had a couple of what we call keys, a couple of key personnel up from LA, but
Right.
we had all grip and electric. All of the equipment was all locally hired, and the film commissioner came on set, the governor came on set, and that was really a nice little win because I actually won this production from Texas.
Oh, is that right?
It was going to be shot in Austin, Texas, and they so loved our locations, they so loved our crew. We'd shot another film for them 2 years ago called The Dark Place that was so successful for them that they came back.
Right. Okay. You've done so many productions. Tell us what your favorite production that you produced and why.
Well, I suppose One Symphony Place, the gala opening, had to be my most favorite because we won an Emmy, and it was electrifyingly exciting.
Right.
In a strange way, everyone's a favorite.
Of course. Yeah.
And they all meld into another. I think Beauty and the Beast. Although I was an associate producer on it, and then I was senior.
Beauty and the Beast, was that
the TV series with Ron
right.
Perlman and Linda Hamilton.
Okay, right.
And,
yeah.
I came off the banana boat. I mean, I literally landed in L.A. I was helped a little bit. My sister had established herself as a top director in L.A., and she was just prepping. Although it went out fourth, she was prepping the second show. It was called The Truland Story. And she picked me up it's rather fun that she picked me up at LAX, and she said, I'm not going to take you home. I was going to come to visit Living Earth first. We were buying a house in LA. My wife was still back in London packing up our house there. She said, I'm going to take you straight to the studio because Harvey Frand, has got to meet you. I said, you know, I'm jet lagged. I've had a few gin and tonics on the way over, you know, I was sort of a little happy. And I said, what do you mean? She said, look, they're desperate. They're desperate for an associate producer who understands video special effects. And in those days, it wasn't digital. I mean, it was analog. I mean,
right.
it was, but I'd been doing a lot of work in England with my own little company, with Quantel, which was the forerunner of digital video effects. And she literally drove me over to Renmar Studios in Hollywood, and Harvey Frand was desperate. He couldn't find anybody who'd ever done any blue screen video effects. And I walked in there, and I said, well, I've been doing this stuff in England, and you know, mostly corporate communications actually. A lot of blue screen, a lot of some cheesy effects. They were cheesy in those days. He hired me on the spot.
Really?
I mean, I literally started on my first day on Beauty and the Beast jet-lagged.
And half drunk?
And half drunk. Well, hangover. As I got off the plane, I mean, I didn't unpack my bag, you know. And she said, oh, by the way, I've got an agent. He's Burt Merrill. Wonderful man. Bless you, Burt. Bless you, Burt. He says, my agent's going to be your agent. We're not going to go and see him. This is all before I even unpacked my bag. It was wonderful.
All right. You were the line producer and played yourself on a reality TV series called The Real Roseanne Show. Now, okay, with Roseanne
do I have
Barr.
to talk about that?
Yes, you do. And it was for ABC Network. Okay, tell me, what was that experience like?
Roseanne Barr. Oh, my God. What a woman. You have to love her and hate her all in the same breath. We actually were making it for ABC Family. Well, it was interesting. We were making it it was a reality show, and we had cameras following us all the time. Every day we had 4, 5, 6 cameras for ABC Network, which was a reality show about making a cooking show, which we were making for ABC Family.
That's kind of confusing, but I understand now. I had to think about it for a moment.
Yeah, and so do we. And so I was myself being the line producer of the cooking show.
Oh,
but they were following us.
Were you really the line producer?
Yes, I was the line producer of the cooking show. I was producing the cooking show, and they were following us making the cooking show, which was
That must have been fun, though.
It was sort of weird. I mean, unfortunately, her son and daughters were quite sweet, but they had the evil son-in-law, Jeff. Oh. And they set me up to be always fighting with him. I mean, it was all a setup. I mean, it was all the time. It was a fight, you know. And that was good camera fodder. I mean, I was camera fodder on that show. So it was always a fight about money and da 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 da. And the show went out. We did get to make the cooking show, but it was never broadcast.
Okay.
The reality show about the making of the cooking show went out, I think, 2 episodes and got cancelled. Yeah. It will turn up one of these days on one of these cable shows.
Of course they will. Somebody will pick it up.
Yeah, somebody will find it.
You've played the evil antagonist in a lot of different parts. What's your favorite part? You know, which one did you enjoy the most?
It has to be Dr. Brandt in Cell Count.
And we're going to see a little bit of that in the reel, right?
Oh yes. I hope so. Yes. A little bit.
Cell Count was Todd and Jason Freeman.
This is the Freeman brothers, who are probably our preeminent sort of. They are our local brothers filmmakers. Wonderful people. I've done 2 or 3 projects with them, and we made this film entirely at the Wapato jail. The whole thing was entirely made at the Wapato, which is your viewers might know this. This is the jail built by the Multnomah County.
But it's being used by almost exclusively by filmmakers
Only
now.
because they raised the bond to build the place, but they forgot to raise the bond to run the place. So it sits there empty out beyond the
racetrack out there.
Yeah, beyond the racetrack. Actually, yes, beyond the expo center.
The expo center, right? Yeah.
And it's just used by film companies because its charter doesn't allow them to rent it for any other purpose. See, all you do is pay the running costs.
Okay, so as far as Wapato Jail is concerned, what do you think of it as far as a resource for filmmakers locally?
Well, I've been on a committee with Tina Kotek to try and sell the place or get it repurposed, and I worked out a whole plan that it would be turned into a fantastic film studio. I mean, it could be the intake yard itself could be covered over. It could be a 23,000 square foot stage. All the extra dormitories could be small insert stages. That's where we shot. It's In fact, Dean Devlin, the producer of Leverage, did make an offer years ago, which they turned down. Now he's built his own studios out in Clackamas, so he's not interested any longer.
So, well, how do you prepare differently for this evil role person than you do for others?
We're actors. I mean, you don't prepare any differently. I do think what helped on Cell Count was total immersion. We worked in that jail day after day after day. I mean, location.
The environment can affect you.
Oh yeah, location, location, location. I mean, I began to think that we were in jail. I mean, it really affected all of us to the betterment of the making of the film.
Actually, when you're, go ahead, finish. Sorry.
No, and you know, I think the fact that we were there 18 hours a day for 4 weeks really helped.
4 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you,
You didn't sleep there, did you?
Almost. A few times we did. We did a lot of night shoots. I mean, I will never go to jail. I promise you. I mean, I can't. I will not go to jail.
Okay,
I mean,
what we're going to do right now is we're going to take 2 minutes and watch Christopher's reel, and you're going to see the, what was his name?
Cell Count.
Yeah.
Dr. Victor Brandt.
You're going to see Dr. Victor Brandt. We'll be right back.
Who are you?
Let's worry about what you're doing here right now. Take a seat. How old are you?
38?
And is it appropriate for a 38-year-old gentleman to be coming to the house of a 14-year-old girl for sex?
No!
To put it bluntly, either she dies in that bed, and you pay $10,000 a day for the privilege of watching her choke and suffocate in her own blood and vomit, or you let me save her.
Can I be with her?
Yeah, we are looking for a few disease-free candidates. You would have to participate in the study, but you could be there for her every step of the way.
Ah, if only you had the intellect to appreciate the dramatic majesty of the British Raj in Imperial India. You pathetic, miserable peasants.
What is
Would
it?
you sing to me?
Sing.
Just a hymn.
No, I am sorry, Mr. Barnes. I'm actually running behind, and I don't sing, but...
Please.
I wouldn't know what to sing.
No. Amazing Grace.
Rob Reiner was brilliant, right? But he had actors play the parts. My Spinal Tap is real genius. And what were you planning on doing with this?
There you are, my little one.
I love the Dr. Victor Brandt character, Christopher. He's awesome, man. You've also...
Yeah, and you know, one must always thank one's fellow actors. That was Robert McKeon I played
Robert
opposite.
McKeon,
I mean,
yeah, he
just
did a great
wonderful,
job in it.
And what actually, there was a piece in that was Nick Bradley might be an alcoholic,
Right.
and you were in that
I
film.
was in that film, yeah. You
not-
didn't
not-
have my
not
clip
that
in there, though.
Well, of course, yeah, no. That was with the lovely Doug Brooks, who's a wonderful Seattle actor.
Right.
Was in the piece that I was in.
Well,
that.
you've actually been director of film festivals? Is that right, guys?
Yeah,
Various degrees with film festivals. You know, tell us your experience with the different film festivals you've been involved
Well,
with.
I was one of the founding directors of the British Academy of BAFTA. You see the word BAFTA, British Academy of Film and Television Arts, Los Angeles.
Right.
In fact, my membership number is 0003. 003. Something bad happened to him, didn't it, in the Bond movies? So I was one of the founders of BAFTA LA. Still am. I mean, I'm still involved, and we did a number of festivals to effectively get ourselves established. It's one of the best ones that I was the director of was the British and the Oscar Film Festival, which we did.
Really?
We did that around a royal visit. I think it was the Duke of. Which royal was it? I can't remember which royal it was. One of the minor royals came over, and we had. It was great because we had all the big films. We had Lawrence of Arabia and Bridget of Verquay and Dr. Zhivago.
Wow.
And I got Sir John Mills to come over and
right.
Omar Sharif.
We're going to take we're going to look at a few of your images here.
Oh.
There's one here with you in his spiffy Navy uniform. Tell us about that.
Well, that actually is my real naval uniform.
Oh, is that right?
I still am on the reserve list. I am a lieutenant commander in the Royal Navy on the reserve list. I was a reserve. It's actually the official title is Lieutenant Commander C. Toyne RNR, which is Royal Naval Reserve, retired. So during the 70s, I served in the reserve as a filmmaker.
Oh, is that right?
As a film archivist.
Oh, good for you. Anyway, let's look at this next picture. This is like a current headshot that was taken. Or is it like from a film?
This is great. Now, this is actually, you mentioned the Freeman Brothers, and this is a project we're actually doing at the moment. It's called The Beautiful.
Right, we're going to see an image of that too in a minute.
Oh, is that, which one are we looking at now?
We're looking at this one. This is your headshot.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
that's from it. Yeah,
Okay.
That's from
and
it.
we're going to see that.
Yeah.
We'll see that. Okay.
Yeah, that's from it.
All right. You know, you're kind of a handsome guy, but we're going to look at this next image, people. Don't be
I'm
too
an
impressed with
old
Chris,
guy.
ladies and gentlemen, because here he is wearing a vest with no shirt on underneath.
It's my favorite
That's
vest.
actually how he dresses on the weekend.
Yeah, I put
you
a
know?
shirt on for tonight.
Yeah. Actually, let's look at this picture from The Beautiful as well.
This is
Tell us about that.
This is fascinating. This is actually a piece. This is a
That's
film.
Garfield Winterbaum, right?
That
at
is
the end?
Garfield, and there is
Jerry Bell and-
Mr. Swiffer, Swiffer
and,
man, right there in the back left.
There's a number of actors.
Oh,
in there,
yes,
yeah. You're actually kind of
Skeet-
funny. You're
Skeeter
the only
Green.
white one in there.
I'm the white boy. Yes, I'm the token white boy in this piece.
And it's for the Quaquille Indian Nation?
Well, we actually shot it in the Coquille Indian
Indian,
Nation
okay.
down in South Oregon. What this is known as, it's a proof of concept. As we've shot a very high quality 11-minute piece of a feature film, which we then took to the Frontier co-production
Film
marketplace
marketing, right,
as,
to get-
as
to
part
get funding.
as part of the Montreal Film Festival to find funding. It's about a interracial piece
Okay.
about a white mother, a black father, and the two sides of the family fighting over the boy. Very
Intense.
but also very, very typical of what's going on at the moment.
Right.
Beautifully shot by the Freeman Brothers, and I'm part of the producing team as well as in it.
Okay.
We found a lot of the funding in Canada for it, not all of it, but it's a piece that will be shot by the Freeman Brothers after their next film.
What was it like for you on the set of Leverage?
Oh, well, you know, I was just a day player, you know, a co-star.
How many days were you on the set?
I was actually, I shot for 2 days and I was called back for a pickup shot, so 3 days. And the really thing is all the local actors, you know, when we do get a gig on Grimm, which I haven't been on yet, but Leverage, and now Dean Devlin is shooting The Librarians. We are treated so well. It's like, it's big Hollywood. You know, the PAs look after us. You know, we're given, albeit not a huge, one of these huge wagon trailers, but we're given a little cubicle and our scripts laid out for us and our wardrobes laid out for us. And we're treated extremely well on the set.
Fed well, too.
And we're fed well. It's really, it's... You know,
Did you have an assistant, or did you just...
No,
you weren't that important.
No, I mean, no, you have a PA. There's a PA assigned to you
Right.
who makes sure that you got to set on time and you get off the set, and you know, and there's a PA assigned, definitely, but not as an assistant per se, but somebody that makes sure that you find your way around.
Did you get to rehearse with did you rehearse at all?
No,
with
you
that?
don't. You don't rehearse on these. I mean, you are expected to be off book, word perfect, ready to go. You go on set. I mean, everybody. Yes, there's a camera rehearsal for everybody. I mean, you run your lines.
Right.
You run your lines while the camera department and the crew watch, and then you shoot it. And you are expected to be absolutely ready, word perfect, off book, ready to go.
Tell us about your worst audition.
My worst audition was the one I did last week. I auditioned for Grimm and I absolutely blew it.
Right.
In a sense, an actor's worst audition is the last one that he didn't get the role. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah, it always seems that
But
way.
I really did a bad one last week.
Is that right? That's all right. How many commercials have you
But
done?
you have to get over it.
You do.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I actually did a bad one last week.
But you learned from it.
You do learn from it. you go back and you go over the lines that you did, and you wonder why you got nervous or why you blew it, and you learn from it.
You do.
And you
do.
have to put it behind you.
You know, I think you have to do a lot of auditions before you can get good at doing auditions. Auditioning is a separate skill set completely than acting.
And that is a problem we have here in the Pacific Northwest. And we do only have 1 or 2 big shows shooting here, and then we do a few commercials. In LA, the actors are often going for 10, 15 auditions a week.
Right.
It's practice. Practice makes perfect. So actors here need to do a lot of audition practice with classes, with the number of classes we have going here.
And that's still not quite the same experience.
It's not.
No. How many commercials have you been in?
I haven't done as many commercials as I've done movies and TVs. I've done probably 10, 11 commercials. I've just done a really good one called Ansie's Forte, which I played the secret witness, which was very exciting. It was really cool.
I watched it.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw it out there on, Okay, so have you ever done any bad acting, Christopher?
Well, a lot of people think I did a lot of very ham acting in Cell Count.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, a lot of people.
I actually liked it. I saw the whole film more than once. I loved your performance in that.
But the reviews up on that website say otherwise.
Oh, is that right? You know what? I've learned not to listen or read reviews because
you got it.
people either, you know, it can harm. Here's the thing: is they give you a great review, that can be just as bad for your ego because it makes you believe things that aren't true.
My sister, who has directed hundreds of hours of television with all the top stars, she doesn't. She's retired now. She says, "You're just like your dad. You're a ham actor." She's not my biggest fan.
So, is that right? But you still love her, right?
Oh, I love her to death.
Do you ever feel like giving up?
No, you never.
No.
Give up.
You probably have moments where you never do, right?
They're going to carry me out with my boots. I mean, the good thing, David, is that I am multifaceted. I am.
You do all of this.
I am what's known as a hyphenate. You know, I'm almost acting for fun more than as a career. I mean, I'm acting for fun. I'm a producer by career, I think really is what it was.
Well, so what's your favorite thing then? Is it producing or is it acting? I find for me it's acting.
My favorite thing is acting. I like being a facilitator producer. I love getting a show off the ground. I don't enjoy the actual line producing any longer. So I love finding, I mean, we have wonderful people like Susan Funk in town that have, you know, that have stepped up to the plate and who just do the nuts and bolts producing fantastically. I like to leave that to those people now, you know.
We're running out of time.
No, I've got stories to tell.
I know.
Can we have a part 2?
Well, we'll try. Thank you for tuning in to Portland Film Beat. I had a great time with Christopher here. I want to thank Ellery Nelson. I want to thank Carol, the producer. I want to thank Crystal and Krista down here at TVC TV. I also want to thank everybody down at PCM TV for their help. Until next time on Portland Film Beat, shoot for the silver screen.